So, first game in the ACC, we knew it was going to be tough. We know Virginia's a really good opponent. I thought our effort for the majority of the game was good. We've just got to make shots. And I think that's something that we kind of hang our hat on, that we're good, that we can do that. And we prove ourselves a lot of days in practice. But, man, we did not get to see the ball go in very much today. And I thought a credit to our team, when they didn't see the ball go in, they still played as hard as they could on the defensive end, which I'm proud of them for that. But I think we're all really disappointed that the game went the way it did, and we just didn't capitalize on the open shots that we got. And we know we're a little undersized, so although we out-rebounded them on the offensive end by one offensive board, we didn't really convert on those offensive rebounds the way we wanted to. So despite taking care of the ball and crashing and getting some offensive boards, we just didn't have enough firepower to get the win.
What stuck out for you of not finishing possessions, getting a second chance or getting a defensive stop, and then not converting, making shots in the net?
Yeah, I think the size differential probably played a little bit of a part in that. And then I just think that I thought we got a lot of good shots. And you look at the stat sheet, we shot 3 more times offensively than we got 3 more shots off. They just didn't go in. And I know you have nights like that. You just don't ever want it to be a night that you're playing an ACC opponent in your home gym.
Virginia had about 40 points in the paint. What do you think was the problem there with defense?
Yeah, I think defensively, those points in the paint, some of it was the way we were trying to zone up because, of course, they have some really good guard play as well. And we knew that we were going to give up some points in the paint. But they did outsize us, and our double teams were a little bit slow to get there to double that post player when they put the ball down. It was like we even picked up a few fouls getting there late and ended up they got a couple and ones on that action as well. So we have to be just a little bit quicker guard-wise to getting to that double on the inside to make sure the post has to kick it out. And then our post players have to work a little bit harder initially, call it early work in the post, to keep them from burying us as deep as they got a couple times.
You draw a couple of offensive fouls with Chargers. How do you think that played into the defense?
Yeah, our defense, when we play our defense, we work on, taking those charges. And I was glad that we stepped up and took a couple today. But, ultimately, we need to convert more on the offensive end. And I think this team can and will. We've just, got to see the ball go in more than, what was our percentage from the floor? It was bad. I mean, you can't really beat many teams shooting 30% from the floor.
It was an inefficient game for Tiani, and I think she went 0 for 6 her last game. What do you think's been kind of her struggle recently?
Yeah, she's battling. She's had a cold that she's been getting over. But I thought today, I know our offensive game didn't look as sharp as she wanted it to be or I wanted it to be, but I thought that she didn't let that boil into how hard she played on the defensive end. So for me, that's a growth, right? Where I think in our last couple games, offensively, and this goes for the whole team, not just T, when we weren't producing offensively, we let that carry over and kind of domino effect into our defense. And I didn't think we did that today. I think that we were outsized, and so we still got scored on a lot and too much, right, because of the high-low and the inside. But at least they had to work for those paint shots. They weren't just given to them. I mean, some were given to them, but the majority weren't.
Kind of on the same note, what you're talking about, how do you bring in positivity during this a big losing streak like this? How do you get over that?
Yeah, I think it's all about controlling what you can control. Life is like that. And you always say you don't always have control over the exact circumstance or the past because it's already happened. So to your point, we've just lost some games that were very winnable, and then we lost our first ACC game. But now how are we going to respond to that? And that's what we have control over. So we have 1 day prep for our Tuesday game. So we're going to come in tomorrow. We get to practice on Conti. We're going to get a lot of shots. We're going to see the ball go in the basket. And hopefully that carries over and we build confidence in practice tomorrow so we're ready to play. And we always say basketball that's the best thing about it. It's an unforgiving sport, right? You got to play, you got to be on it, you got to do everything right when you're in a game. But if things don't go your way, or you're not proud of the way you played, or you have another opportunity a few days later. So this is going to be our opportunity on Tuesday to show that we're not happy about the way we just played. We're going to come out, we're going to work really hard tomorrow, we're going to prep for Bryant, and then we're going to come out and we're going to play as hard as we can on Tuesday. And hopefully we have some fans that will come and continue to support us.
I wanted to ask also, UVA had their most turnovers in the second quarter, but you didn't end up converting off those. What did you think when the defense stepped up and then the offense not? Like, describe like
Same idea. We just didn't convert on shots today. That was our Achilles heel. Like I said, we grabbed some really good offensive boards. We turned them over, I think, 16 times. So we did things that we needed to do to get shots at the basket, but then we just didn't make the shots. And that's something that is a little, you want that to be in your control, and how you control that is you work really hard at it. I will say this basketball team, these individual players, they work really hard on getting in and putting up a lot of shots. So that's where this is disappointing for them too, because they do put in the work. It's not like we took 26 threes and it was people that don't practice that and aren't allowed to shoot threes were taking them. It was good shooters that just didn't make shots, and they'll make them the next time, because that's one thing about good shooters. You only miss the shots you don't take, right? So they're going to keep shooting.